before I joined ECU, before I'd even really heard about the organization, I was working with a relatively familiar outplacement service as part of my exit package that I had with my former employer. And I was in a little bit of a tough spot, and the market was just very strange at that point. It was, we were coming out of COVID, and things I think were starting to normalize, but not really, right? So I've been on the market for a little bit, and I was feeling very discouraged because I felt like I had done a lot. I'd worked very hard in my career, and worked very hard to create to give myself a background that was attractive to, or what I thought was attractive to, an employer. And I found that I was either overqualified for some roles, or they wanted more years of experience in the role, the type of role that I was looking for. Even though I'd had kind of this accelerated experience at previous positions. So when I looked at ECU, I thought, I like the sound of this. I talked to Derek, and he and I chatted a couple of times, and he was incredibly encouraging when he really presented the full picture to me of what ECU offers. I thought to myself, this is different. This is different than your typical outplacement, where I feel like sometimes you're just kind of left out on a limb. They might give you resume advice, they might provide you with some networking opportunities, or maybe some job descriptions and job openings. But outside of that, it's really, I didn't feel necessarily the level of support that I needed, and especially coming out of my previous role, which had really kind of I just had a rough time in that role. And so for me, I was coming out feeling kind of deflated. And so it was important to me that the level of support that I had was really more of that kind of 360 view. A couple of things, really. I think ECU offers this really well-rounded program, and that really addresses like the whole person versus just the employee, right? And just the candidate. So there's this really great approach that, you have built so much structure around making sure that not only like physical health, mental health, professional health, all these things are taken care of and are addressed in various ways. And you have the ability, you're very timely in that there's, weekly, there's this full schedule sent out of different events that you can attend. And it's not, you're not penalized if you don't attend. It's up to you as far as how you structure the program for yourself, but there's continual guidance along the way to help you understand maybe what would be beneficial for you, and where you should really focus your time. And I think Tim is great. I loved his podcast that he does every week. I tried to join the mental awareness portion as much as I could, because I felt like that's where I had a lot of struggles in my personal interviewing process, was that there were some things that I was doubting about my capabilities, which I had never doubted before. A lot of this involved a ton of reflection on my part. And I think in doing that, I was able to put together a really solid story about where I came from, what I've done, what I want to do, and how I plan to do that in a way that was now just a much better telling of my story than maybe how I was doing it before. I think that came out clear. There is so much guidance along with, not only the resume, LinkedIn profiling, right? All of these things that are really important, that you present yourself in the right way. But then once you get that interview, you need that confidence, and you need that ability to tell your story in a concise, succinct way, so that people understand who you are and why they should be intrigued by your capabilities. And I think that that's something that I really got from ECU that I haven't gotten before from other organizations outside of outplacement services or not. This is just a really nice, well-rounded program that I felt like both the mindfulness sessions and then the technical advice that I was getting along the way. I learned a lot. I'm in HR. I've been doing this for a long time. I learned a lot about how I present myself and how I've been responding to different things in my life. And I think that that's only going to help me move forward. I would consider this my dream job at this point in my life. I think it really worked out. My new role is I am the CHRO of essentially a holdings company that has the companies relocating their headquarters here to Madison. And so from looking at all the different aspects of the role, location was right. The position itself and the level of oversight it has was perfect. The leadership that I was able to meet and have real conversations, real genuine, candid conversations with about, what they see as the future for this company, what part I play in that, and then how we're going to really kind of build out our HR presence, were, encouraging and inspiring versus kind of this more, wondering or worrying about how much there is going to be to do when I, sit down in that chair for the first time. The role itself it's a relatively small company, but they're on track to grow in tremendous ways over the next couple of years, and they have some really ambitious goals, which aligns with who I am and the type of work I like to do. And so I'm about a month and a week in or so at this point, and it's been great. I know that I made the right choice. I know that I was able to, get the attention and the interview and whatnot because of the various ways that I was able to present myself. And so it's a great role. I'm really excited for what's to come and see a long future for myself there. So I actually got about a 10% increase in my base salary, and then my bonus target went up about 20%. I go back to where my mindset was when I first was talking to Derek. I remember waffling on it for all of, I don't know, an hour. I took the leap, right? I joined I joined ECU, and I guess the advice I'd give someone is it's worth it. I think just the tremendous value that I gained from being part of this organization. And I won't even say that I was the most, there are some people who are joining every call and who are in every conversation and things. And that wasn't me. I was, I have a 4-year-old. I have other things going on in my life that I sometimes wasn't able to make all of the calls or, contribute in the ways that I really wanted to. But I still found all of that tremendous value in just the conversations that I was a part of. And I think the ECU team, you guys care, genuinely care about people. You want to see people be successful. You understand that success isn't a zero-sum game, right? So it's not a competitive nature. I love the fact that there's networking opportunities provided right away. And so not only did I gain my confidence back, I now have, a position that I love, that's going to help take care of myself and my family. And then you gain friends, you gain professional network, through this, and they're all people who are going through the same thing. So you just see people helping one another, and it's almost in today's world, we see too many negative things, I think sometimes. This is just one of those experiences that I look back on, and I still, part of me misses it. Part of me misses being a part of those conversations and interacting with all of you and the other people. So I would just say, if you're waffling at all, do it. It's worth it. If you can make it work at all, just do it. Give yourself, it's time to invest in yourself, believe in yourself a little bit, and know that this team is going to help support you in every sense of the word, throughout the entire journey. I can't think of a better way to go into a new role than with, a great deal of confidence, a full network of people and support behind you, and your own kind of cheerleading squad, who's working with you to make sure that you're the best and in the best position you can be.